It's Friday night. Picture it. 9 p.m. Not too long ago, this hour used to hum with a distinct energy. If you closed your eyes, you could almost hear the collective pulse of a city coming alive after a long week. Think about your own city's entertainment districts, the main arteries where the night's blood once flowed. Bars, pubs, and casual restaurants would be absolutely buzzing, spilling laughter and the clinking of glasses onto the sidewalks. The air would be thick with conversations, music, and the general joyful chaos of people unwinding. But now, try to imagine it. Go ahead, close your eyes again. It's 9 p.m. What do you hear? What do you feel? There's a noticeable quiet. An eerie, almost reverent hush now exists where there used to be a roar. Many of those spots that once defined a generation's social life are eerily empty. You might see a scattering of patrons, perhaps nursing a drink or two, but it's nothing like the throng of even just a few years ago. And worse, far too many beloved institutions are shuttered. Dark windows stare out onto increasingly desolate streets. For lease signs are a grim epitaph to a once thriving business. This isn't just a localized phenomenon. This quiet spreading through our urban centers is a global phenomenon. In the last 2 years alone, we've seen thousands of casual dining and nightlife establishments shut their doors across major metropolitan areas worldwide. That number isn't just a statistic. It represents the loss of countless local pubs, corner bars, and neighborhood eateries. They were more than just places to eat and drink. They were unofficial community centers, backdrops to first dates, impromptu celebrations, commiserations, and the forging of lifelong friendships. They were the heartbeat of our social fabric. So here's the core question, and it's a profound one that goes far beyond the simple balance sheets of struggling businesses. The question isn't just why these businesses are closing, it's why people, especially young professionals, the very demographic that traditionally fueled these industries, are no longer showing up. Where exactly did everyone go? Did they just vanish into thin air? Or did something fundamental shift beneath their feet, changing the very calculus of their Friday night? This isn't merely a cultural pivot towards homebody evenings. It's not a sudden collective decision to embrace sweatpants and Netflix over a lively night out. Nor is it simply the latest social media trend dictating where people spend their time. While cultural shifts and new technologies certainly play a part, to stop there would be to miss the forest for the trees. Because beneath the surface of this societal shift, a powerful, almost invisible force is at play. This is pure, unforgiving economics. We are witnessing a silent, slow-motion economic explosion, fundamentally reshaping our social landscape. This explosion is driven by a concept you might remember from an introductory economics class. Its real-world application now starker than ever: opportunity cost. So, why now? What made the past few years such a perfect storm, transforming our collective Friday night ritual? The seeds of this shift were sown and rapidly germinated, starting around 2022 and 2023. We entered an era of unprecedented global inflation. This was a direct and lingering consequence of the post-pandemic recovery. Supply chains, fractured by shutdowns, struggled to mend. Geopolitical events rattled the global economy, sending shockwaves through energy and commodity markets. In response, central banks around the world, like the Federal Reserve here in the United States, began aggressively shifting their monetary policies, hiking interest rates to combat soaring prices. Now you might be thinking, but wait, I got a raise. My nominal wage went up. And you're right. Many people did see an increase in their nominal wages, the raw number on their paycheck. But here's the insidious catch. While your paycheck might have looked a little fatter, the cost of everything around you surged even faster. Rent prices skyrocketed, making urban living a luxury for many. Groceries became shockingly expensive. Filling up your gas tank or paying for public transportation started eating a much larger chunk of your budget. Even your monthly streaming subscriptions, once seen as a cheap escape, quietly crept up in price. The result of this imbalance is a dramatic and sustained erosion of real purchasing power. This is particularly true for young professionals. Your nominal wage might have gone up, but your real wage, what that money can actually buy, plummeted. You're earning more dollars, but those dollars are buying less and less. It's a cruel sleight of hand that leaves people feeling poorer despite higher paychecks. When people feel poorer, their spending habits, particularly their discretionary spending, change fundamentally. Tonight, we're going to pull back the curtain on this economic phenomenon. We're going to dissect the modern Friday night using not one, not two, but 8 core economic principles. We'll look at the choices people are making, the forces that shape those choices, and the profound impact those choices are having on individuals, businesses, and the very fabric of our communities. By the end of our conversation, you won't just see an empty bar stool. You'll understand the invisible economic hand guiding every spending decision, every quiet Friday night, and even your own weekend plans in a completely new light. Get ready to rethink everything you thought you knew about a night out. Now, let's bring these powerful, invisible forces into sharper focus by following someone whose life is being shaped by them every single day. Meet Alex, a 27-year-old marketing associate navigating life in one of America's major metropolitan areas. It's Friday, 7 p.m., and she's on her usual, often exhausting commute home. The train car is packed, the air thick with the collective sigh of a week ending, the low hum of distant conversations filling the space. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. She pulls it out to see a group chat notification. Drinks after work? That new spot downtown? Flashback just 1 year. A year ago, Alex wouldn't have hesitated. Her fingers would have flown across the screen. An immediate, "I'm in," popping up in the chat, followed by an excited emoji. The thought of unwinding with her friends, sharing stories from the week, and laughing over a craft cocktail would have been an irresistible pull, a non-negotiable end to her work week. But tonight, her finger hovers over the keyboard. There's a noticeable pause, a moment of internal debate. Her mind isn't just thinking about whether she feels like going out. It's racing through a complex, almost subconscious calculation. This is a vivid illustration of opportunity cost in action. This fundamental economic principle isn't just a dry textbook definition. It's the value of the next best alternative given up when a choice is made. Every decision carries this hidden price tag, and for Alex, that tag has become impossible to ignore. Let's dissect Alex's mental spreadsheet. Choice A, the bar. If she goes out, she estimates she'll spend anywhere from $45 to $60. This would cover drinks, a tip for the bartender, and maybe a small appetizer to share. That's 2 hours of laughter, stress relief, and a feeling of connection. But it also guarantees a late night, a disruption to her sleep cycle, and the almost certain prospect of waking up on Saturday morning feeling sluggish and a little behind before the weekend has even truly begun. Choice B, home and chill. Her next best alternative, the one that immediately comes to mind, is simpler, quieter. She could stop at the local grocery store on her way home, pick up a premium 6-pack of her favorite beer for around $15. She could then enjoy a relaxed evening on her own couch, catching up on a streaming series, winding down without the need for forced small talk or the sensory overload of a noisy bar. The Saturday morning aftermath? She'd wake up refreshed, ready to tackle errands or simply enjoy a calm start to her weekend. Choice C, self-investment. But then a third, more strategic thought enters the equation. That same $45 to $60, the cost of a single night out, could fund a month subscription to an online coding boot camp. Or it could buy a crucial textbook for a professional certification course she's been eyeing. That certification could significantly boost her resume, opening doors to higher paying opportunities. This isn't just spending. It's an investment in her future, a direct path to enhanced career mobility and potentially much higher earning potential down the line. Alex sees 3 vastly different futures tied to a single $50 decision. A year ago, the immediate gratification of social connection, the vibrant pulse of a Friday night, would have effortlessly outweighed all other considerations. It was an indulgence she could afford, both financially and mentally. But now, the economic scale is tipping dramatically. The perceived value of that immediate social connection, weighed against the very real and pressing needs for financial security and career advancement, has fundamentally shifted. Alex sighs, a quiet resignation in her breath. She types her reply. Sorry guys, slammed with work. Next time for sure. It's a polite excuse, masking a deeper, more profound economic reality. As Alex makes her way home, that subtle shift in priorities becomes even clearer. She stops at the grocery store, not for a full week's haul, but for that specific $15 six-pack. This brief detour into the beer aisle is where the economic concept of substitutes truly comes into play. She picks up a can of the exact same craft beer she might have ordered at the bar. At the bar, a single pint would have cost her $9 or $10. Here in the grocery store, that same brand in a can is just $2.50. Both options deliver a strikingly similar alcohol utility, the feeling of unwinding, the pleasant buzz that helps her decompress after a long week. The difference in price is staggering, $6.50 to $7.50 per drink. Alex, like many of her generation, has become an accidental but expert financial analyst of her own life. She mentally calculates. If she were to go out 4 times a month and have 3 drinks each time, that's almost $90 spent purely on what she now categorizes as atmosphere. She isn't paying for the liquid. She's paying for the experience. What else could that $90 buy? 2 premium streaming subscriptions? Half a week's worth of fresh, healthy groceries? A significant chunk towards that coding course? The mental trade-offs are now blaringly obvious. The atmosphere premium suddenly feels like an unaffordable luxury. This also brings us to the principle of diminishing marginal utility. Alex reflects on past bar nights, particularly those frequent ones from just a year or two ago. The first time she visited a brand new spot with friends was exhilarating. It offered 100% utility, maximum excitement and novelty. The second time was still good, maybe 80%. But by the third or fourth consecutive Friday spent in a similar setting, the novelty began to wear off. The excitement waned to 60%, then 40% utility. The conversations, while still enjoyable, became less novel. The music, less fresh. The thought would often creep in, I could just be doing this at home for a fraction of the cost and feel just as relaxed. This diminishing return on her investment of time and money has forced a new rationality. Alex now consciously limits her bar visits to once a month, reserving them only for occasions when the utility value, the unique social experience, or the celebration of a special event, is truly high. For the everyday unwind, the cheaper, home-based substitute is simply the more rational choice. But this shift, this collective decision to stay home, has profound consequences far beyond Alex's personal budget. Let's shift our focus to Sarah. She is a 48-year-old entrepreneur who owns The Corner Tap, a beloved neighborhood pub that has been a fixture in her community for 10 years. For a decade, Sarah poured her heart and soul into creating a welcoming space where memories were made and friendships blossomed. But now, with a heavy heart, she's filing for bankruptcy. She simply doesn't understand why. Her menu hasn't changed. The quality of her service is as high as ever. The beer taps still pour the same local craft brews. From her perspective, nothing has fundamentally altered. Economically speaking, however, Sarah is experiencing a dramatic and devastating leftward shift in her demand curve. This means that at any given price point, the quantity of drinks and food her customers are willing and able to buy has significantly decreased. To visualize this, imagine a graph plotting price against quantity. For years, her demand curve was relatively stable. In 2023, for example, she might have consistently served 40 customers a night, each spending around $9 per drink. But by 2024, even at that same $9 price point, she's seeing only 25 customers on an average night. Demand has plummeted, not because she raised her prices, but because something fundamental has changed in her customers' ability or willingness to pay. This is the crushing weight of the income effect. Her customers, people just like Alex, have seen their real income shrink, even if their nominal paychecks look slightly larger. The true purchasing power of their money has been eroded by the relentless march of inflation. Rent has spiked, groceries are shockingly expensive, the cost of gas or public transportation continues to eat away at their budgets. Bars, pubs, and casual restaurants are generally classified as normal goods in economics. This means that as people's incomes rise, demand for these goods typically rises as well. Conversely, when people have less discretionary income, when the money available after covering essentials shrinks, demand for normal goods like a night out plummets. Sarah's loyal customers haven't abandoned her out of disinterest. They've been forced to abandon her out of economic necessity. They've said it to her, often with deep apologies. Sarah, we truly love this place, but we just can't afford it anymore, with rent going up and everything else costing so much. In a desperate, last-ditch effort to save her beloved pub, Sarah decided to try lowering her prices. She dropped her beer prices from $9 a pint to $8, hoping that a $1 discount would entice customers back through her doors. But did it work? This illustrates a concept called price elasticity of demand. In Sarah's case, her customer base exhibited low price elasticity. This means that even with a price reduction, the change in quantity demanded was negligible. Why? For her customers, like Alex, the $8 price point, while slightly better than $9, was still astronomically higher than the $2.50 beer available at the grocery store. The grocery store beer was a near-perfect substitute for the core utility they were seeking, a relaxing alcoholic beverage. For many, the fundamental utility of alcohol, the relaxation, the social lubricant, the pleasant buzz, is largely the same, whether it's consumed in a bustling bar or in the quiet comfort of their own home. When a near-perfect substitute exists at a fraction of the price, even a small price reduction by the original vendor is often insufficient. It won't win back customers whose real income has shrunk so significantly. The economic chasm between the bar experience and the home experience became too wide. A mere dollar discount could not bridge it. Sarah, a victim of market forces entirely beyond her control, was forced to close her doors. The corner tap, once a vibrant hub, became another casualty of the new economic reality. Let's zoom back into Alex's personal financial universe to fully appreciate the silent struggle that dictates her Friday nights. We already touched on her nominal wage increase, but it's worth dissecting the full impact on her budget. In 2023, her take-home pay was $3,800 a month. A year later, in 2024, she received a nominal raise, which brought her take-home pay to $4,000 a month. On the surface, that looks like a positive change, a $200 increase. But now, let's reveal the hidden costs that devoured that raise, and then some. First, rent. Her rent, already substantial, increased by $75 a month, from $1,500 to $1,575. Then, groceries. The cost of feeding herself and preparing healthy meals went up by $60 a month, rising from $400 to $460. Next, transportation. Whether it was gas for occasional drives or the monthly public transit pass, her transportation costs climbed by $20 a month, increasing from $100 to $120. And finally, student loan interest and debt payments. After years of deferments or lower rates, rising interest rates meant her monthly student loan payments jumped by $50 a month, increasing from $250 to $300. When we tally these essential cost increases, the picture becomes stark. Rent, $75, plus groceries, $60, plus transportation, $20, plus student loans, $50, equals a total essential cost increase of $205 per month. This reveals the brutal truth of real wage decline. Alex's nominal pay increased by $200, but her essential expenses increased by $205. Her real disposable income, the money she has left over after covering the non-negotiables, actually decreased by $5 a month. Despite earning a higher salary, she can, in fact, buy less. She is objectively poorer in real terms, even with a seemingly positive raise. This forces a harsh prioritization between discretionary goods and essential goods. Bars, cafes, movies, new clothes, spontaneous shopping trips, these are all discretionary goods. They are desirable. They add joy and comfort to life, but they are not strictly necessary for survival. Things like rent, food, and transportation are essential goods. They are the non-negotiables that must be paid to maintain a basic standard of living. When real income falls, discretionary spending is invariably the first casualty. This isn't about wanting to save, it's about needing to save. This is the substitution effect in full force. Alex is swapping expensive leisure activities for cheaper alternatives, combined with the broader income effect, which describes her overall reduced consumption due to significantly less purchasing power. Every Friday night decision is a direct reflection of this tightening grip on her personal finances. This isn't just about Alex, of course. This is about a broader generational shift in what it means to be a rational economic actor. Historically, the economic definition of a rational actor is one who pursues utility maximization, someone seeking the greatest possible satisfaction, the highest level of joy or benefit from their available resources. But Alex and an entire generation of her peers are no longer primarily driven by maximizing joy. Instead, their lives are increasingly defined by cost minimization, how to endure, how to lose less, how to simply survive in an economic landscape that feels increasingly hostile. It's a fundamental and almost imperceptible shift from seeking joy to merely getting by. This shift isn't hidden from public view. It's simply manifesting in new ways. Look at social media. Her friends' feeds, once a kaleidoscope of blurry bar photos, late-night adventures, and spontaneous outings, have subtly transformed. Now, you're more likely to see gym check-ins, earnest book recommendations, screenshots of online course progress, or meticulously plated, elaborate, home-cooked meals designed to replicate the restaurant experience at a fraction of the cost. Everyone, it seems, is quietly, almost subconsciously, calculating their opportunity cost. They are adjusting their public as well as their private lives accordingly. The pursuit of self-improvement and financial prudence has become the new, enforced social norm. Let's fast forward another year into Alex's near future to see the outcome of these choices. Alex diligently spent those lonely Friday nights studying, forgoing social engagements. She pored over textbooks and online modules. Her efforts paid off. She earned her professional certification, an impressive credential that significantly boosted her resume. With this new qualification, she successfully landed a new job, which came with a well-deserved $7,000 boost to her annual salary. Furthermore, by consistently cutting back on discretionary spending, those nights out, the impulse buys, the daily coffee runs, she managed to save an additional $3,000. From a purely economic perspective, this is a resounding triumph. Alex is a textbook example of delayed gratification in action. She made the conscious sacrifice of immediate pleasure for a larger, more significant future gain. She made the rational choice. She minimized her costs. She maximized her future earning potential. She built a stronger financial foundation for herself. Economically, Alex is a success story. But as Alex looks out her window one quiet Friday night, the view tells a more complex tale. The corner tap, Sarah's beloved pub, is gone. In its place, a trendy but still notably quiet new cafe has opened. Alex reminisces about those lonely Friday nights, studying intently, politely declining invitation after invitation from her friends. The $7,000 raise, while absolutely necessary and deeply appreciated, feels somewhat hollow. Economics, with its elegant formulas and precise, quantifiable metrics, is adept at measuring success in numbers, in dollars and cents, in market efficiency. But it struggles, often profoundly, to account for the emotional void. It struggles to account for the lost, spontaneous experiences. It struggles with the subtle fracturing of social connections. These are the often unspoken price of these rational economic choices. The vibrant, messy joy of those past Friday nights, the camaraderie that built community, is a utility that economic models often fail to capture. And here's the persistent struggle. Even with her new job and higher salary, Alex still feels the financial squeeze. Inflation, that relentless economic force, continues its march. The rent for an apartment near her new, more prestigious workplace is even higher than before. Her real disposable income, despite that significant raise, remains frustratingly tight. The finish line, it seems, keeps moving. She closes her laptop. A quiet click echoes in the stillness of her apartment. The certification journey is over, yes. But to truly excel in her new, more demanding role, more learning awaits. New skills to acquire, industry trends to master, perhaps another specialization to pursue. The cycle of delayed gratification, fueled by persistent economic pressure and the constant need to stay competitive, shows no signs of abating. For Alex, and for many, this isn't a temporary sacrifice. It's becoming the default mode of operation. This isn't just Alex's individual narrative or Sarah's struggling business. This is a profound, broader societal implication. It's a generation facing an economic landscape where making rational decisions demands significant, almost unprecedented personal sacrifice. This relentless pursuit of financial stability, while economically sound, is inadvertently leading to a profound sense of isolation. It is also leading to a significant diminishing of spontaneous, community-building social interactions. The very fabric of our local economies, the vibrant tapestry of our social life, is quietly, fundamentally changing. The long-term consequences of this shift are only just beginning to unfold. So let's recap the invisible forces at play. The quiet that has descended upon our Friday nights isn't accidental, nor is it merely a matter of changing tastes. It is a stark and undeniable manifestation of core economic principles in action. The crushing weight of opportunity cost, the insidious erosion of real wage decline, the powerful pull of more affordable substitutes, and a fundamental generational shift from a pursuit of utility maximization to an arduous, often lonely, pursuit of cost minimization. Young people are not being lazy or unadventurous. They are making economically rational decisions, driven by sheer necessity in an unforgiving financial environment. Now let's fast forward 2 more years. Imagine yourself standing at a similar crossroads to Alex. The choices you make today will define your Friday nights and indeed your future. You face an inevitable choice, a fundamental fork in the road. Option A. You can choose to embrace Alex's path. Commit to sacrificing immediate social pleasure. Prioritize continuous learning and financial security. Diligently work towards career advancement. This is the economically rational choice. It offers the promise of stability and future prosperity. However, it is also potentially emotionally taxing. It requires a sustained period of delayed gratification, which can lead to feelings of isolation and a sense of lost experiences. Option B. You could choose to prioritize present enjoyment and social connection. You might continue to seek out those spontaneous moments with friends. Embrace a more balanced approach to work and leisure. You would accept the trade-off of potentially slower financial growth. You might also accept an increased vulnerability to future economic pressures. This path offers immediate emotional satisfaction and rich social experiences, but it may come with fiscal challenges in the long run. Which path will you choose? What will your future balance sheet look like? Not just in financial terms, but in terms of your overall well-being and sense of connection. And what will your Friday nights feel like 2, 3, 5 years from now? The choice, deeply personal and profoundly economic, starts now. Economics provides us with an invaluable lens. Through it, we understand the intricate workings of our world. We can dissect the cold, hard numbers that shape our reality, but it often falls short in quantifying the intangible, yet equally vital aspects of the human experience. It misses our spirit's innate need for connection. It misses the need for spontaneous joy. It misses the shared laughter that builds communities. The challenge for our generation isn't just economic survival in an era of tightening belts. It's about finding a way to truly thrive. It's about building fulfilling lives. It's about nurturing those essential human connections. This is true even when the most economically rational choice often feels profoundly, undeniably lonely. It's Friday night. Picture it. 9 p.m.